Beautiful Pia, you can share a little bit about yourself, and then I do want to ask you what led you to become a soul-led entrepreneur. And guys, if you're joining, please say hello.
Yes. Do we see well, we're in StreamYard, so do I see comments and things?
I think so. Or
anything? I don't know. These are the joys of technology that we only half really know anything about, but that's okay. It's cool. So hello everyone, and hello my gorgeous Tanya. So I am Pia Antico. I am based in Sydney. I am your Crone Life Joy Reboot mentor, coach and trainer. I'm 49, and so hence the Crone, and I'm here. I've come into what I do because women over 40, particularly those of us who are going through the peri to post-menopause, and we're having all that change and transition. And the reason that I do what I do and why I'm so passionate about it is because, unfortunately, for a lot of us, we are dealing with a society that is completely youth obsessed, that pathologizes pretty much anything to do with women's reproductive systems and cycles and that. I mean, that seems to be the go from when we're teenagers all the way through. And we also live, unfortunately, also in a society where a lot of people have no idea that there's way more to our existence than, the physical and the biological and the material, that we are actually energetic beings. And that's patriarchy for you. And so for me, the spiritual and the political actually go hand in hand, particularly for women and the divine feminine and all that wonderful good stuff. And so for me, what the Crone is all about, the Crone is the name given to the wise woman. You've got Crone and Hag. Crone means crowning stage of womanhood. And so back in the 11th century, pre-Christianity, Crone was revered. Crone was a term given to the high priestess, the shaman, the healer, the wise woman of the community that men, women, children all turned to. And she was the law holder and the lineage holder, and as said, shaman. I mean, she was like really important. And so that term was not considered offensive or derogatory. But unfortunately, from about the 11th century, we've got Christianity, and then onwards, we've got terms about women and aging, like Crone, like Hag, that suddenly got turned into wicked witches. So we've got our Disney sense that we've grown up with this. She's a wicked, warty old witch, and she eats little children and, poisons young maidens because she's jealous of their youth and all the rest of that crap. And so, yeah, we've got a lot of unpacking to do as women who enter 40 and beyond, to actually realize that what we're going through with our womb transformation is actually sacred and energetically really powerful. Yet we get all this messaging that it's pathological, that it's lost, that we're losing our youth, we're losing our ability to reproduce. It's all quite pathological. We're just talking about bodily symptoms, and there's no sort of context around it. There's no sort of sense of it's just loss in the end, and everyone's sort of walking around going, well, unless I get a nip and a tuck and all the rest of it, and try and hold on to youth for dear life, then it's just a very swift march towards death with nothing happy in between, and couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, I have to say
that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing it, because I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so beautiful, and it's so true. I've been listening to and reading Think and Grow Rich at the moment.
Yes.
And just double whammy. And something so beautiful. He says, from 40 to 60 are actually like our prime, and and we need to honor that, and we need to appreciate that, and we should feel so blessed that we get to this amazing wise age that we are at, And I know something shifted massively from 37 for me, but when I turned 40, it was like I just felt this like sex stops there. Like, it's just beautiful. Not tricky, it's just like empowered and so excited. And it's really beautiful. And we need to remind everybody about this. Like, it's such a privilege and such an honor. And all the years, like, I mean, I love the 20s, I love the 30s, but we should be excited.
Yeah.
No, not think like, oh my gosh, we're aging. Like, this is our prime time. Like, live the most of it. Like,
it actually is. And see, with the messaging that, oh, well, your womb is dried up and barren and that's it. It's actually not true. Just because our womb center may not be pushing out babies anymore, that may not be taking, our creativity may not be taking the form of human life anymore, but that does not mean that our sacral chakra, the engine room of our existence, is still absolutely pumping, and it gives us the opportunity to use that creative energy to turn inwards and to redefine our lives. It's so important to, and see, I think the thing what we again, we have this patriarchal youth obsessed society where for men it's been very clear that, oh yes, well, they're, you know, they're silver foxes and they're definitely 40 and beyond powerhouses of security and action and all the rest of it. But unfortunately, that same messaging has not been offered for women. And so hence why the spirit and the political, for me, go hand in hand. You can't, and you just cannot separate the two, particularly in regards to women and aging. It's so important. It is about bringing back the divine feminine into the larger conversation of the society that we have. And thankfully, that clearly is what's happening these days.
Totally.
We're seeing this happening from 3D into the 5D, and this is the time. This is the
what
time.
A time to be alive. I always say.
And I really believe it is so fundamentally important that women of our stage of life and transition, what we give as mentors, not just to ourselves, but to younger women. I do actually fundamentally believe that if younger women were taught about the sacredness, and I don't mean purity culture of Christianity like most of us have run screaming from, but I mean understanding the sacred energies of our cycles, that we are as above, so below, the moon cycles, the seasonal cycles, and the energy of the three-stage goddess, the maiden, the mother, the crone. If we are taught that from at the same time as being taught about the bodily changes, you're about to hit puberty and you're going to get a period, here's a sanitary pad or tampon or what have you. But if girls were taught about the sacredness of their vessel and that it carries their energetic being, I honestly believe that a lot of the mistakes made looking for validation through sexual expression wouldn't be happen to the same degree, because they basically know that their vessel is sacred. They're sacred. They would demand to be treated like the goddesses that they are.
I love that.
No disclaimer here, not at all saying that it is our responsibility. We are not in control of men behaving properly and not raping and assaulting and all the rest of it. None of what we do calls that to us in that sense. But I do think that what is helpful is if we as a collective demanded more of the men in our lives and in society in general and change the discourse, then I do believe we'd see a great deal of improvement from where we're at now, where large numbers of women go through their life having been raped or sexually assaulted or in domestic abuse of some form or another. About it's like 1 in 3 women or something. It's ridiculous.
I know, it's very.
I was one of them.
Yeah, me too.
I did it twice. I did it twice. And here, so here's the thing: why 40 plus? Well, because unfortunately, unlike your dear self, who cottoned on quickly at 37 and marched into her 40s, jam-packed and ready to go, I wasn't quite as aware. And at 39, I realized that I look back now and realize I had succumbed to the messaging of society. And I didn't realize that I had, but I look back now and I can see definitely I was chasing a youth that I actually never had, because my early 20s, I had chronic illness. I was run over at high speed. I was married to my first abusive husband. I had a lot go on in my 20s and early 30s to mid 30s. So by the time I hit 36, so for me, the 36, 37, I'm looking up and looking around going, I've got to make up for lost time. And for me, that took the shape of, unfortunately, marrying a guy that was 15 years younger than me. I know the toy boy thing sounds like a nice idea, and for some it works, but unfortunately it didn't work for me because I wasn't in the right state of mind. I didn't know. I was not in my power. I was not this person you see here. I was looking backwards, trying to catch up for stuff. And so I indeed was hiding my age and trying to do whatever I could to recapture youth again before it got too late. And unfortunately even tried to have kids in my early 40s, and I had 2 miscarriages because of that, and sort of put my body through a whole lot of drama with all the hormones and fertility drugs and stuff, because the younger husband and his family wanted the wife to have children. And so, I took on so much of that messaging that I could not be the age that I was, which was by that stage in my early 40s. So 49. So it's age 45 onwards, I happily claimed publicly how old I actually am. And now I can't wait. 50th April, and I'm so excited by it. But
beautiful. Yeah.
So
that's the other thing. That's the other thing. You know, so many become wiser a lot sooner these days because people are awakening and all of these beautiful, beautiful things that are happening. And some of us are later. Like, it doesn't matter. Whenever we are meant to find the right path for us, it's exactly how it's meant to be, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, Pia, your story is just amazing, and to where you are today. And it's just amazing, you know, like you've been through so much, but you are now the joy rebooted. Like, you bring joy to other people's lives, and you teach people to live in a.
It is. No, and I initially started in the online space in 2017, but it was a different business name, different focus, and I think I started that back then. I started in the abuse, domestic violence space, getting over domestic violence, and then that sort of merged into the relationships space, because I was realizing as I was unpacking it all, it wasn't just intimate partner relationship, but I was realizing it was relationship with my parents, relationship with society, friends, myself. And so that previous incarnation, I was actually a relationships reset mentor, because I realized that when you show up in your relationships differently, from your inner wisdom instead of from the story in your head, that everything else takes care of itself. But early this year, I had a fabulous epiphany in February. It was one of those 11 o'clock at night till 4 in the morning kind of things where, I don't know, something takes over you and you find yourself spirit writing, all this stuff is just coming out. And what came out was my AWAKEN framework. And my training, my certification, apart from the degrees in psychology and counseling, but my current focus and framework is what they call the 3 Principles framework by Sydney Banks. And it is so vastly different to what we normally understand to be how the human psyche works and how we engage with the rest of the world. And the core of it, at the fundamental level of it, is our factory default setting is joy.
Absolutely.
And when we understand that, and not just understand, see, none of what I do is about it hits you as intellectual understanding, because that's how our physical being is. But it's an energetic, the transformation is at the energy level, is at the insight level. And once you realize in the core of your being that you are actually joy, and that you are creating your experience through your thinking in the moment, and it's not other people that's causing you to feel stuff, and it's not the world, it's not the events, it's not the situations, it is your thinking about those things. Not to say that people don't do stuff. We live in a physical world. Absolutely. We are of matter. And yes, if someone hits you, as my exes had, it hurts, it's real, they're doing stuff. But my suffering of them and what kept me in those relationships a lot longer than I needed to have been, or even got myself into that situation in the first place, was with a story in my head.
Absolutely.
About myself, about my place in the world, about them. It always comes back to our story in the moment. But unlike, say, NLP or other modalities that have you looking at what you're thinking and why you're thinking it, and it's keeping you in your head, the three principles framework paradigm speaks about the truth of how the mechanics work of our psyche, is that thoughts pop in our head. We have no control over the thought popping in our head. A nervous system emotional response arises to that thought, but they ebb and flow like the tide. So we don't have to do anything. Like, you don't chase the tide. So you don't have to control your thoughts or control your emotions. It's just awareness. It's awareness that, oh, okay, I'm feeling a bit crummy. Okay, I must be thinking something that's getting me that way. I don't have to analyze what it is that I'm thinking. I don't have to do anything with it. It's just awareness. And like Esther Hicks would say, if you find yourself thinking about something crummy, stop it.
Yeah, that's
stop
it.
We can distract ourselves at any time.
It definitely takes a lot of practice. It does, but eventually those crummy thoughts stop coming.
It's just what it is. And see, but the beauty, I think, why it takes it, the beautiful realization is part of our human experience is we are in this physical body with its physical limits, and the way that the brain and the nervous system work is part of our human experience. So we're not going to be in a state of epiphany 24/7. And that's okay. But that's okay. So it's more about realizing that you're okay no matter what. You're okay whether you're happy or sad. You're okay if you're scared. You're okay, whatever. It's all okay. You don't have to tell an extra story about your experience that hooks you into it. You know.
Telling over and over and over that you broke and that you broke, and you're not.
We never were.
Magnificent.
Things happen to us.
Exactly.
Our core being has never been broken. It will never be broken. We don't need healing. We don't need fixing. We just need the occasional reminder, the little tap on the shoulder. Or you're a little bit stuck you've just got a little bit stuck in your thinking in the moment, where your thinking is making it look like this problem out there is kind of solid and real. And look, there are things that we have to do in life that we might have to address. Practically.
Being human. There's that.
I mean, if the building is on fire, it's handy to actually get up and leave. So we do. There are times, but most of what we call a problem is not actually a problem.
It's made up in our head.
And the minute you realize that, it just evaporates.
Pia, I often do that. I just write it out. I'll literally write it, and I'll look at it, and I'm like, is that what was bothering you, Tanya? Like, what? Yeah, exactly. But if it's stuck there, you know, so often it's stuck and it's a repeat and a repeat and a repeat and a repeat, and that's it. You need to learn.
It's not it. And for those times where it is something that is a problem that needs a practical solution, again, everything is about tapping into your inner wisdom first and taking aligned action from there, allowing the answer to arise. I like going upwards. It always feels upwards. It's coming up from it's my heartful wisdom, universal mind, whatever the heck you want to label it, but it's coming up. It's not this story in this head. So if you go problem, and I need to think of the solution, you're not going to get there.
No,
but when
you got to get into alignment first, like I always say.
Lovely space, and just allow the answer to arrive in the present moment. You respond to it in the present moment. It will inevitably be because it's from universal source, divine source, whatever again you want to call it. That because that is being guided from that space, from within, you know that whatever's going to be the outcome from that is going to be the best it can be. So you don't have to kind of overthink it in any way. And when you show up that way, beautiful thing happens is a lot of the things that you thought you needed to do just fall away, and the people that you might have thought were a problem suddenly aren't a problem.
Absolutely.
It's so beautiful. And that's how I created my relationship with my dad, which was conflicted and disconnected for decades. Over the last 18 months or so, by me being able to show up in my wisdom with an open heart and an open mind, and allowing him his energetic being, even if he's not in touch with it, but to know that each new moment is a new opportunity to be, to experience. And if that's the case for me, that's the case for him. You know, we make a huge mistake of presuming that just because someone did something in the past, they're going to do it again.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. We can't. None of us can cross the same street in the same way ever. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You know, but we think it does. We tell ourselves we do, and then we go off and face the world with our battle armor on, and we wonder why there's disconnect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know, it's so beautiful. It's been amazing actually seeing the transformation with your relationship with your dad. You know, it's been beautiful to watch. So beautiful.
He, in fact, so I think it was earlier in the year. It was early in the year. My first co-authored book came out in March, and he actually read it, and he actually left me a beautiful testimonial. Oh my God. I screenshot that testimonial. That was like, that's up there with my like best testimonial I could ever get from my dad. Of how proud he was of me, of how much he knew that everything would fall into place and I would succeed in this path. And it was just like, wow. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. He still has he's still a bit difficult, but and he's contrary, and he can say one thing and change his mind, and he's still, and okay, he's not the most, what can I say? It's not like he rings me every week or something to reach out and ask how I'm going. So if I don't make the connection, there is no connection. But when I do connect with him, I do it in such a way that I'm not dreading. Like I used to dress rehearse what I was going to say, because you're thinking, well, he said this,
expecting
exactly. And so what the 3 principles framework has done for me personally in my life has enabled me to have those insights about the truth of our experience, and so that I can show up with my relationship with my dad and be open in the moment to whatever arises, and realize with appreciation that whatever is arising is going to be beautiful.
Love
and
that.
I don't have to expect anything.
Yeah, because we always you know, for so long, we are always, as the human brain, like we just we expect the worst. And as soon as you can train yourself, it does. It doesn't happen overnight. I bet you, Pia, you've had to practice and practice and practice and catch yourself, be like, Pia, I know for me, it's like, Tanya, pull yourself. Pull yourself.
Absolutely. But you know what's been the really lovely flavor to it is in the past, I would catch myself with a level of guilt, shame, regret, kind of, you know, you beat yourself up over it. Once you understand, and again, it's not understand, it's inner stand, it's realization. Once you get that it's okay to get stuck, because that's part of the human experience, then you can just be really freer on yourself and on those around you.
Totally.
And just go, well, okay, I had a moment. That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything with that moment. It passes all by itself without me having to manipulate it in any shape, way, or form. And I have the next moment where I can be completely in my wisdom. And so can they. It's this enthusiasm is just, this is the joy. This is our default factory setting. When we're not even told that. Most of us are told you've either got original sin from Christianity or from the psychology background, you've got your Freudian sense of the id, ego, and superego, and we're a hot mess. We're not. We're not. We're joy. Joy and unconditional love. That's it.
So beautiful.
It is so beautiful, you know, and so I love what I'm doing. And so how I'm working with women over 40 is...
I was just going to ask you, can you share and share your offer?
How I'm working with women over 40, I've got two main ways that you can work with me. You can work with me one-on-one in my VIP 90-day container. And that's Awaken the Joy Within. So embrace your sacred crone. And we walk through together those six elements of joy. And that is awareness. It's your wisdom. It's coming into appreciation. It's kindness. It's equanimity, being okay, knowing that you're okay, even when things aren't okay. And now, be the present moment, because all this is in the ground of the present moment. And what that really means, it's not your current reality, which people say, you know, just it's not what is. It's that space between what was and what will become is in fact the present moment. A vastly different energetic space to be in, and it's in that space our wisdom arises. It's in that space that the joy is. And again, it's not actually having to do things to get there, which I really love. Having had decades of doing yoga and meditation and all the good stuff, which are all in my toolkit, and I really love using them. But again, I just love Esther Hicks. Esther explained it really beautifully the other day, and she was just saying that much as I try and explain as well, it's all these tools are fabulous, but they aren't the thing that creates the wisdom, and they're not necessary for you to tap into that wisdom, but they're lovely to use. So again, it's like any aligned action. If from your wisdom aligned space you feel inclined to do some tapping, love my tapping, do my journaling, love it, do some yoga, do meditate, whatever it is that you've inclined towards, do so. But it's not because you're broken, and it's not because there's something empty or missing that you need those things.
It feels good, and that's why
it feels good. It feels good and it's fun. And so
I remember, Pia.
Yes,
sorry, I just want to, because I agree there. I remember in the beginning when I learned about the Dream Day Journal, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to do it every single day. And then if I didn't do it, I was so upset with myself. And then I was like, I don't want to stop because, oh my gosh, it's like gold dust. But then I realized, like, actually now I can do it whenever I want, and I still manifest like a crazy woman. But it's so beautiful. It's not needed. But if you feel like, you know, you're in alignment and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do it.
It's joyous.
I do feel better doing things. So for me, it's really lovely.
For sure.
But it's not needed.
But it's not because the tool is the powerhouse. The tool isn't the powerhouse.
You are the powerhouse.
You're the powerhouse, regardless of whether you do or don't do. You are by nature. Your sheer existence is the powerhouse. But so women can work with me one-on-one in my container, which I absolutely am so excited about. And there is some doing in it. I've worked out how to navigate that doing with the not needing to do. So for me, those tools, I love my guided meditations and my EFT. I'm playing around with, for me, Oracle wisdom cards, using readings, but couching the lesson within my AWAKEN framework. And I love that. So it's not predictive. I'm not claiming any psychic powers or anything like that. It's just simply, I like the tool because it's an opportunity to sort of allow yourself to tap into your inner voice.
Yeah, I love that.
Now, I mean, not saying that I may well be. I mean, I do actually technically believe that I have a wonderful spirit team and all the rest of it. So no doubt they're behind me, but I don't market it that way or anything like that at this point. But so there are lots of different ways that we can work together within that 90 days, along with the one-on-one session. You have Voxer support with me throughout the entirety of that 90-day period, and a few bonus masterclasses and things as well. And then I've also come up with a fabulous offer that I'm so excited about for those beautiful crones who don't wish to maybe do a deep dive 30-day, because it's admittedly the 30-day, it's all about, it's digging deep. And that's okay. You may not be into that yet. Oh, and that is $3,333, and there is that's the irresistible founding Crone's offer on that, and that will go up in November. I do have an installment plan for that as well, so if you want that, you can let me know.
And the link is above for that one. So
I'll put the link above. But the new offer,
I have already.
Yes. But the new offer is not, is on the wall. I just posted it this evening in the group. But the new offer, I'm just totally excited about. It's Voxer coaching. So basically, I love Voxer because you can leave beautiful long voice messages and or type. It's up to you. And for a monthly ongoing membership to that, what that gives you is daily access to me. So you can jump in at any time of your time zone with whenever you're inspired to do so, with whatever issue, or maybe you've got a problem you want to work through. Maybe you have a decision you want to work through. Maybe you've got an epiphany. You just simply want to get a bit of a nod that you're on the right track, whatever it is. But for some of us, we don't want to deep dive, but it's just great to know that we've got some support there on the daily. And so how that would work is you'd leave a message and I would be responding to that message within the 24-hour period of you leaving it. Sometimes it could be instantly if we get the times synced. Sometimes it may not be. I'm in Australia. You could be in the US or the UK or elsewhere in the world. But you are guaranteed to have a response from me within the 24-hour period. And you have that daily access to me 24/7 for the entirety. And that is $555 a month. And I'm just, I love the number. It's a wonderful angel significance, 555 of
big
really
changes.
It does.
Big changes for 55. Yeah,
I know. Yeah. I love it. And so I just thought that was really aligned with that.
I love that.
With that offer. So that's two ways you can work with me presently. As time goes on, I will do new things. I am looking maybe at the end of the year to have a group program coming up, a 7-week program, but that's in the being thought about kind of phase. So now, they're the two ways you can work with me.
And I know the framework within there, and it's stunning. It's absolutely awesome. And I'm excited about the Voxer because I must say, I've worked with coaches when they included Voxer into it. And it was so lovely just to know that you've got someone on the other side. And it was so helpful for me because I knew I could send that message and it's off my chest. And then it's like, you know, you will get guidance. And so I love that. I think that's absolutely awesome.
It's brilliant. So and as a standalone offer, because as I said, some of us don't want the big journey straight away, which is great.
Yeah.
But so I'm excited. So they're the two ways you can work with me.
Beautiful. I love it.
So it's all about joy rebooting your life post 40, having cared for everybody else, probably at the expense of yourself, and now it's your turn.
I love that. Really beautiful. Yay. So that is our gorgeous, gorgeous Pia. And so if anybody feels like they just want to get some joy back into their life, and really, like, it's the most beautiful, like, I just see Pia and I know that feeling of really just living in the moment, living in that, you know, just everything is okay. It is such a beautiful, powerful place to be.
And
exactly.
And that is the key thing.
Yeah.
This is where I stand out maybe to others who are Instagram perfect and claiming. One of the big lessons I learned actually in this whole abundance and law of attraction and what it actually looks like and all that stuff and being in alignment, I feel like that there's maybe a bit of a messaging in the industry that that alignment looks like, you know, mansions and perfect body and soulmate relationship and, you know, money in the bank and all the rest of it. And that is true. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And it took a while for me to cotton on to that. So alignment is being okay with what is going on in your life, enjoying your life as it is.
Feeling good. Yeah,
Still
totally.
dreaming and hoping for whatever, because we send those, as Esther Hicks would say, rockets of desire out there. This is part of being in this existence, but it's actually about being okay with what is in the moment for you. And that may be like for myself, my business is new. I don't have 10K months. I haven't got hundreds of clients. Personally, I'm happily single, not actually looking for a partner, but you know, that may change. But you know, it's not like my life is Instagram perfect at this moment. So it's not about having to have the stuff in order to be okay. It's being this enthusiastic and this, even when I sometimes get scared. Believe me, I'm not saying you're not going to have.
No, of course, we're human.
I mean that you're not going to get scared, not going to get angry, not going to get stuck in your head occasionally, and all those things will happen still, less frequently. But the main thing is you don't get freaked out by it.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's
ever. That inner peace, that inner freaking peace. Like there's just nothing like it. No, absolutely.
And I love that.
And that was the thing that I realized when I knew I'd shifted. And this was in 2018, after the 3 months that I'd done that Live Limitlessly. And all of a sudden I was in the same house that I was bitching about and nothing else had changed, but I had changed. So when things, the beautiful Wayne Dyer says, when things change inside of you, everything changes on the outside. Like it's just the most beautiful thing. You can be in the exact same situation, but all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, actually, I'm so grateful. Like, I love this house. You know, now.
Well, that's the awareness, the wisdom, and the appreciation part of my framework. That's all those things that come together.
And when that happens,
and it is, and suddenly everything is, and that's with the people in your lives. That's even those difficult people. I mean, I hear so much out there. Oh, this person's difficult. They're toxic. They're this, that, and the other. What's the answer? The answer is you cut them out of your life. Well, I can tell you right now, having gone no contact with my dad for close to 2 years, that did not make my experience any better. Because you carry the story in your head. So you're still playing all this loop in your head. So even if you're physically not in contact with them, you still connect.
Energetically.
And mentally and emotionally. So they might as well. So that is not actually the answer.
No,
it isn't. And I love that. I love knowing that. I love it.
It's really beautiful.
And so this enthusiasm, I want this enthusiasm for all my beautiful
for everybody. So
Absolutely.
guys, get hold of the gorgeous Pia. And you'll see Pia obviously lots here in the Manifestation Hub, and sending everybody big love. And thank you, Pia, for being here with me.
Love you all. Love my gorgeous Tanya. Oh, and of course I didn't say, well, I mean, okay, I know ha to some of you that they're gloating a little bit. I'm sorry, I know the membership is closed, but what I get from this beautiful, I know, isn't it terrible? I shouldn't gloat, really. But it is really lovely to feel kind of VIP, to be in a little closed, a very small container of very precious women. And so, what do I get out of this membership? What I get out of the membership is this connection of being with like-minded, fabulous women, and beautiful Tanya coming in and keeping us on our toes with our alignment and all the rest of it, and making sure that we don't get stuck in our heads. We have beautiful Hannah coming in doing readings for us, which is beautiful at the once a month generally that happens, which is great. So, okay, maybe, we will have new members into the group if you work one-on-one with beautiful Tanya. And I've just finished working one-on-one with beautiful Tanya. So I can definitely say you need to do both.
Thank you, beautiful Pia. I appreciate that.
Love you all out there. Hope everyone in the world enjoy the rest of your day, evening, week, and stay blessed.
Yeah. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Bye, guys.
Bye.